If it hurts, yank the brakes, no get you, double it up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. Ball, obstacles, block, cut, sides, do the game, tap, this win it in. Press it again, we're here for the first minute. Carry my team every 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talking Vols and my guy Boogie Bentley runs. So shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Good Saturday morning. It's like Saturday morning cartoons right here on the Talkin VAWLS network. It's your Saturday morning Cruton show with Boogie and the coaches. The man of the hour, Christian Gass, going to be coming off the board. Big time priority for Tennessee, and I love it, man. I love it. We're going to talk about Georgia. You guys already know. You guys already know what I think about the Georgia Bulldogs, but it is hilarious. I love seeing them be so defensive. I love hearing them say the things that a lot of us have found ourselves saying at times. Oh, they weren't a take. Oh, well, we moved on. Oh, it must have been money. Now Georgia's on the other side of that, and I think there's only one way to kick off this show. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. Not a single Georgia fan. That's who we're going up head-to-head against. 4-star linebacker Christian Gass is coming off the board. And here in just a little bit, around 1 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to take you all the way up to that decision. We got some film breakdown to get into. We're going to talk some Cruton. We're going to do what we do, but let's see who's hanging out in the chat. Let's see who do you think, Coach Jay, if you had to place a bet, who do you think the first person in the chat was?
The very first person? Ooh. Go Tony Canada, but I don't know.
It's Tony's usually there. Brad Burnett, shout out Brad Burnett, dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis.
Someone we liked.
Yeah, no. Why does it have to be a letdown? It's kind of disappointed. Randy Wilson was here. Says it's Saturday and we are another day closer to it being football time in Tennessee. Samuel Watkins is here. David Hall is in the house. What is up? Says let's get another one. You guys being very generous in the tip jar. David Hall for 2 says Dorothy. Shout out David. Appreciate that super chat. Terry Maple's been a member for 2 months. You guys can become a member. Hit that join button over there. It's just $1. Fan call-in shows. What do y'all think, man? See how I get this? Is how my brain works. I'm like squirrel. Fan call-in show, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Shady Hayward is going to be back in the house. He wants to come on, talk about his decision that's coming up next Saturday. I'm thinking about a fan call-in show. You guys talk about it in the chat. If you want a fan call-in show Sunday night after Shady drops off the show. Foul Ming gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out Foul Ming. Appreciate that support. Evan counts for 2, says UGA ain't got no gas in it. Rizzy drops a 5, says get that door fee out of the way. Yeah, I encourage you to do that. Thank you, Rizzy, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Dylan Elam for 2 says door, gas, pedal. Vol Fan for live for 5 says gas to Tennessee. Let's go. We're back, baby, at work listening to my favorite other Vol fan. Shout out Vol Fan for live. Appreciate it. Adam's been a member for 19 months. Oh, you're not a member of the channel. You'd be a lot cooler if you were, allegedly. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Christopher Carter has been a member for 22 months. We appreciate it. Foul Ming for 5. Ming Stream Media. Wow. That's a YouTube channel, Foul Ming. Ming Stream Media says he's all Vol. Appreciate the super chat, Foul Ming. Coach Rice, how you feeling about the commitment? USC, Georgia, Tennessee, right around the corner. How do you feel about this commitment coming up?
Very optimistic. I think he's a Vol. Everything's pointed towards that him putting that Tennessee cap on or pulling off putting on the Tennessee shirt or whatever he decides to do, whatever way he shows his commitment. I think without a doubt it's going to be the good boys and the good guys in orange.
Yeah, when you start getting the Chad Simmons predictions, the Steve Wiltfong predictions right around the corner from the commitment, you start to get a little fired up. Shout out Michelle. She's in the chat. She doesn't have anything to say. She is a lurker, but drops that $8 super chat. Sounds like we're cultivating championships around here. Coach Jay's got some film breakdown we're going to get into in just a little bit. But look, 247 Sports, they're slacking. On 3, they're slacking. Coach Jay is working. What do you think of his game based on all the film that you've watched?
I love his game, man. I think he's a smart football player. I think he's a high motor kid. He's got really good length, really, really good speed. Really, really good speed, can put a hand in the dirt if he needs to, can come off the edge. He can play pass coverage. He's great against the run. A couple things that, first of all, before I get into the next thing I like, check out that neck, man. Is that a linebacker neck or what? That kid got a linebacker neck. I like that. When I see my linebacker with a neck like that, I feel really good about it. So that's awesome.
He needs a horse collar, though. Come on.
Yeah. Let's
go back.
Cowboy collar. Douglas or cowboy collar, though. Douglas or cowboy collar. I kind of like the Douglas roll.
Yeah,
myself,
that's what I was.
The old school.
The old school Douglas roll. But I like the way this kid tackles, and I know that kind of sounds simplistic for a linebacker, but a lot of these kids, especially at this age when they're as big as Christian Gass is, can kind of come in and shoulder shiver and just knock kids out. This kid does not do that, man. You know the slogan around here, man. Ass down, head up, wrap up, hat on the ball, knees to nuts, all the good stuff. And this kid's got that for him when he tackles. Great at scraping, squeezing down the line. He's really good against pass protection, too. His footwork is behind his run defense footwork, but that's something we can get fixed at the college level. Really excited about Christian Gass, a really, really nice piece, and someone who can start rounding out this linebacker class very, very nicely for Tennessee.
Got a couple of new members in the chat. Eddie Crossland hit that join button. We appreciate that support. David Shelton also did the same. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, thinking about smashing that join button, we would appreciate it. Again, fan call-in shows right around the corner. The link goes out to Talkin VAWLS, Elite, and Higher. Look, that's how Coach Jay and Coach Rice ended up with a job right here on the Talkin VAWLS network is they won over the fan call-in show. You guys can do the same. If you just want to support the channel, we appreciate it. So thank you to David and also thank you to Eddie. We appreciate that. Let's continue talking about Christian Gass. Again, coming off the board 1 p.m. Eastern time. You know, AP kind of teased it. Christian Gass was a guy, it was Jaden Perlotti, right? Jaden Perlotti's on Flip Watch. He's on Flip Watch. He's on Flip Watch. And then it's kind of like Georgia fans are saying, we don't need him. We're focusing on Christian Gass. AP, I think it was last week sometime, said the Vols have a full tank of gas. He got offers from 25 schools. I didn't know this. I thought it was interesting. Tennessee was his first SEC offer. The day that offer came in, Georgia also offered and USC also offered. So his top 3 teams all offered at the same time. But I like this quote because it had been seen that, you know, Tennessee was recruiting him to play edge. And then they kind of changed their sales pitch. And this is where the momentum kind of seemed to shift. They said, we can play you at edge. We may play you on the inside. This is a quote from him. He said, my biggest thing was when I was up there, I wanted to know if I was going to play edge or inside backer. They'll let me do both. If they were going to just let me play edge, they probably wouldn't have been in my top 3. I want to be a versatile player. So that was big for me to go up there and see if I could play both positions. Coach Rice, I know you watch a lot of film too. Sometimes I throw it, if it's defense, I'm going Coach Jay. If it's offense, I'm Coach Rice. But I know you guys both deep dive all of it. What do you like about him at the edge versus inside, and how do you utilize a guy like that?
Well, Coach Jay kind of emphasized, I mean, speed kills it no matter where you put it. But using that twitchiness and the speed off the edge is very, very important to that position itself. Because you're talking about his athleticism, bendability is what I call it, being able to get around the length of those offensive tackles, put some pressure on them having to, you know, they have to have that quick first step or else they're way past, like Gas would be way past them and they sacking the quarterback before they even be able to get their steps in. So the athleticism, the speed, and the twitchiness and being able to bend and get around the edge is something I see real positive with this linebacker slash edge guy. I think he's a guy that, like we've said, and like he says, he wants to be that versatile player that you can line up all over the field. You think about it, what was Jeremy Banks his last couple years? That twitchy, fast, aggressive. You could put him all over the defense. Yes, he wasn't the best in pass coverage. This dude, he's probably a little better in pass coverage coming in as a freshman than what Jeremy Banks was. But we all know Jeremy Banks as the middle linebacker. But we, late in his tenure, we moved him around. We blitzed him from all different angles. And this is a guy that I see has a similar look, similar body frame, has the ability to put on some mass in the muscle. So I really like his film. Very, very good with his eyes. I think with Coach Jay, his steps and run scheme, knowing which gaps to go through and his assignments, that can all be coached up at the college level. But the way he wins is his speed and pure athleticism. And, I mean, that's what Coach Hype and Coach Banks has been recruiting. And we see that at every position. It don't matter if they're raw. They got speed and athleticism, and all they got to do is develop their the way they play defense.
You know, it's funny because we're going up against Georgia in these big boy battles, right? And what's the counter? If I was a Georgia fan, I'd say the same thing. Well, first of all, I'd probably puke, but I would say the same thing. It doesn't matter. What matters is on the field. But you talk about the speed and the athleticism that you're seeing, not only Josh Heupel, but Tim Banks recruit on this football team. That's how you take the next step is off the field. Jimmys and Joes versus X's and O's. You know, that was kind of the theme in my video yesterday. And when you look at where as the dominoes fall, right? Travis Smith, Tennessee commit last weekend. Tennessee and Georgia, right? That's a win. And not only that, I don't think I even really maybe emphasized enough. Not only did you go beat Georgia, you pulled one of their own. That's an in-state kid. That's an Atlanta, Georgia prospect. Christian Gass today, also a Georgia prospect. And then you move ahead. Shady Hayward, Lions, Georgia. Juan Gaston, Atlanta, Georgia. Travis Smith's teammate. Coach A, like, look at this football team now. going into 2024, year 4 of the Josh Heupel. How much talent? Name a team, man. I just put you on the spot. You got maybe one of Butch Jones' teams maybe had this much NFL talent on it. I mean, we've done a pretty dang good job in just 3 years under Josh Heupel closing the talent gap. Muted.
Yeah, definitely as much talent as Butch Jones' years. Maybe you could even argue that the stars were a little higher all the way through. I think you could argue it, but I'll tell you what I prefer in the Heupel coaching regime, just period, is just the development, the overall development of that talent. You see it when these kids are coming to campus, they're getting better. And if they're not, they usually aren't sticking around for very long under Josh Heupel's regime, right? That they're just not panning out. If that's the case, if they are getting better, then they're going to stay on that team and keep getting better behind the scenes. You think about it, man. Like Khalil McKenzie, Shai Tuttle, just all the talent in the world. Those kids, we could have got more out of those kids, especially considering that they played on the D line with Derek Barnett. Man, that should have been easy pickings for those guys. They should have been dominant. Team shouldn't have been getting yard. They should have been averaging 6 to 7 sacks a day. We just did not get the production out of that team, especially with the linebacking core they had behind that D-line. That's another thing. Coach Rice could tell you, even as an offensive coach, anyone who's watched football for any amount of time, a great D-line like that can not only make your DBs better, but, man, it makes our job as linebackers so much easier, man. I'll tell you what, just going back to when I played, I had an all-state defensive tackle in front of me, and man, I ate because of it, man. I absolutely ate because of it. It can help you as a linebacker, no doubt about it. This defensive line is super, super special, and I'm really, really Mr. Burns, doctoring eviling my fingers over here, thinking about these young athletic linebackers moving behind this defensive line that we built here. I know we didn't fall behind that blue chip line of people they say can win the championship. But I'll tell you what, the blue chips that we do have on this team are pretty deep on the top level, on that starting level. I think everyone agree we like our starters. We start getting nervous at certain positions if we have to go too deep into our depth chart. But that starting blue chip talent level is there. And at some positions, you're starting to see the depth there as well. Once we complete that, we'll be super dangerous in the SEC, but I think we're going to be super dangerous already with the position talent that we have.
You got to be like, I feel like.
What does he feel like, Coach Rice?
You're definitely encouraged what the roster looks like across the board. D-line, you got depth. Linebacker, you got depth. Secondary, we're getting to that point, getting recruits. The Shady Haywards, the Boo Carters, the Marcus Gorys, the Caleb Beasleys. And then you're just building onto that. So the offensively, I say we're pretty deep, except we're working on the offensive line. This class you add, the guys we got in this class, you go add David Sanders, you go add either A or Juan Gaston or Josh Petty. Those will be just cherries on top.
Yep.
You're looking at what Josh Heupel, what he started at to where he's at now and to where he's going to be. And it's just going to keep getting better as long as we're keep winning at the level we're winning. So that's the key. Boogie, you say it all the time. 24 is the most important year in the Josh Heupel era. And that's just on the field and in recruiting and the fans' perception of Josh Heupel and the media's perception of Josh Heupel. You know, after 2022, he was top 3 coach in the SEC. That's what everybody was saying. Coach Heupel's got that team rolling. He's top 3 coach in the SEC, top 10 coach in the nation. Well, after last year, all the respect just went away. And we all know part of that reason. But it's what does this year, at the end of the year, say about Josh Heupel and his program?
And that's what I was going to say before my computer said, no, you're not going to say anything. Get off the show. Yep. Go back. Like we were in this cycle, right? It's like Lane Kiffin leaves in the middle of the night. and then it's Derek Dooley and it's Butch Jones and it's Jeremy Pruitt. And every time, like, I feel like when you come in as a head coach, you can sell yourself. And the way it played out, like, Butch Jones was the perfect coach to come in after Derek Dooley, because it's like, this guy's got some sense of charisma at the time, right? He's a used car salesman. He goes out and he recruits, and then he doesn't get it done. And Jeremy Pruitt comes in, and it's like, well, we don't need that flash. We need a good old gritty ball coach. And that's what we thought we got in Jeremy Pruitt. But I think the 3 to 4 year time frame is when you really start to learn, all right, what do we really have here, right? Because the sexy new toy in the toy box starts to fade, and now it's like, well, can you coach? Can you, like Coach Jay was talking about, can you develop talent? Yeah, I can go out here and sign a 5-star. What do I do with that 5-star? And I just think that this is where it's crucial for Josh Heupel to have success. You've got your quarterback. Not only do you have your quarterback, your 5-star quarterback, the guy you pushed all the chips in on, but you're also returning a veteran offensive line. And I get it. We're lacking some depth there because of where Ellerby missed early in those first 2 cycles. We're fixing that. We fixed it in the class of 24. We're working on it in the class of 25. But you got a veteran offensive line in front of him. He's talked, Nico's talked about how Coop settles him down. Coop, like, gets him dialed in, because Coop is the leader of that offensive line. Now is the time. It's we ride. We ride in year 4 of the Josh Heupel era, and it's time to go get it done. And, let's throw a dart. Because Coach Rice said, we know part of the reason. We think we know, right? Everybody wants to say, well, it was Joe Milton. But then there's these little birdies out there, and it's like, well, it was Alex Golish. Alex Golish is gone, and Heupel's offense doesn't work. Joey Halsley's not the guy. I don't believe that narrative. I just don't believe it. And then there's the people out there saying the wide receivers, they weren't good enough. Well, guess what? All we lost was Ramel Keaton. Those same wide receivers are coming back. So is it the wide receivers? We're going to find out. But year four, I think this is the year we ride in 2024, Coach Jay.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, if you know how psychotic I am about watching these games after they happen, man, I really, Coach Rice probably the same. Any coach, man, you can go back and watch a million plays. If I flicked on that film and I was like, well, the receivers aren't open downfield. Well, the option route wasn't there. Well, this tag wasn't there. Everything was there. Even though they dialed it back, pulled it back, dumbed it down, whatever euphemism you want to use for what we did with our offense of keeping it a little more simple for Joe is fine. But the fact of the matter is it was schemed there. And the moments Joe, it would click for him, like in the first half of the Alabama game, you'd see it instantly, man. It was there. It was never not there. It was the execution of it, the timing of it, the synchronization of the offense, all was off. These wide receivers didn't know if they were going to get hit when they made the correct read like they should be on the option route. They didn't know that when the ball finally was coming to them, would it be overthrown? Would it be thrown behind them? Offense is about rhythm, man. Anyone will tell you that. Even Timothy, who doesn't like the option routes, will tell you he likes timing routes because of rhythm. How can you have rhythm when you're having improper reads, overthrown balls, balls thrown behind, not on time? It's just impossible to get that continuity that you have. And when you're moving as fast as Josh Heupel's offense is supposed to move, it has to be right, man. It has to be a well-oiled machine. All pistons have to be moving. All 11 players have to be moving in perfect synchronization, or it does not work. End of story.
All right, my 3 keys to why last year happened, last year happened, and this is all I want to talk about last year. You got, and this is opposite of Joe Milton. Other than Joe Milton, this is why last year happened. It's the only wide receiver downfall they had last year was drops. They ran the right route. The routes were there. They had a couple drops early in the year. The drops fell off at the middle to the end of the year. We all saw that. It was the beginning of the year, and that maybe affected Joe Milton's confidence. But it was secondary and health on the offensive line. Those are the 3 things. And the reason why we talk about why we think Joe is part of the reason why it wasn't the wide receivers, it was all Joe. Competitive instincts. It's a key word across football. Did Joe have those competitive instincts? When I'm talking about competitive, I'm talking about reading the play before the play even happened, knowing what to do with the ball. We talked about it all the time. When it came to an important situation, could we put it all on Joe? No, We couldn't. Do we believe we can do that with Nico? Yes. And so that's where the game changes. I've said it a million times. I love Joe. I loved his attitude, his effort for Tennessee football. He's going to be a Vol for life forever. But it's just the game develops a different way in each different person. And QB is the biggest position on any football field where you have to have those competitive instincts to know what to do when the going gets rough. And it's just different in people. And we all believe Nico will get us back in the right direction in which Hendon Hooker had us.
It's that the Alabama game, like Coach Jay pointed out, like there's no way Hendon Hooker's not putting that game away. Yep. Nico puts that game away, right? Killers put the game away. And Joe just, and I questioned that from Jump Street when he was laid back and loosey-goosey, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know that you can be a leader that's laid back and loosey-goosey, because when I'm looking somebody to lead, all right, we're in the trenches, and I look over at my leader and he's like doing all this stuff. It's like, well, no, I just don't buy into that. All right, let's catch up with the chat. We got 634 people watching live, waiting on the commitment from Christian Gass. We're going to take you all the way up to that decision. Help us out. Hit the thumbs up. That is free. All you got to do is look over at your phone and go, boop, hit the button, hit the thumbs up. Also, share the link. Put it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Call up Tom over at MySpace. If you can remember your password, let him know that we are live right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Let's get to 1,000 people watching this commitment of Christian Gass, putting a spotlight on these kids. That's what leads to amazing interviews like Jaden Lofton this past Wednesday. What a great interview. What a great kid, man. I'm excited about his future on Rocky Top. Also coming up tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Shady Hayward going to be back in the house. He's set to make his decision next Saturday. He said, Boogie, we ride Sunday night at 7 p.m. Bring all the hard-hitting questions. So make sure you guys come join us for that. Let's see here. Corey Smith, been a member for 21 months. Appreciate that support. Corey, Eric B. Jones, been a member for 39 months. That is a long time. We appreciate it. Says, what's up, Boogie? Coach Jay, Coach Rice, GBO, what is up, Eric? Appreciate the support, my man. Tony Canada, been a member for 6 months. We appreciate that, Tony. Chase, for 22 months. That is a lot of support. Shout out Chase Tidwell. Also, Nick Williams becomes a new member of the channel. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate it. Guys, smash that join button. Throw $1 our way. That's what allows us to bring you as much content as possible. David's been a member for 22 months. Will Jones is feeling generous. He gifted 5 Talkin VAWLS memberships. So 5 of you in the chat now have free memberships courtesy of Will Jones. Make sure you renew those. Shout out, Will. We appreciate it. James been a member for 22 months. All right, members, we appreciate the support. Let's jump into it. Let's talk a little Christian Gass, again, scheduled to come off the board here in about 18 minutes. 4-star linebacker, Tennessee, Georgia, Southern Cal. Does that all right, hold on. We got to hit this. Will Jones is feeling extremely generous today. Shout out, Will Jones. That's a pink boy. Pink boys get this clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Will Jones for 50 says gas in the boat. I think there's some gas in the boat. I think we're off to the races. Shout out Will for the $50 super chat. That is very generous. Coach, are you a little torn? You a little torn? Southern Cal, Tennessee.
He didn't like the boat. Not a yacht guy.
See, we got gas in our boat.
He's more of a river raft kind of guy.
Wait a minute.
He didn't like the yacht. He didn't like the yacht.
I'm going to turn you into the villain. You better be careful. The chat's going to turn on you. You keep making comments like that. They got yachts out at Southern Cal, but here in good old East Tennessee, we got, what'd you call it? River rafts?
River rafts.
Oh man. Oh, man.
All right, I'm the villain. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You got the West Coast hat on. This kid's picking between Tennessee and Southern Cal. He's got an LA Lakers hat.
Hey, I will give respect where that is due. Don't connect on the Lakers.
Thank you.
Don't give him an out. Don't give him an out. Shout out Will Jones. Very generous super chat. Jeff's been a member for 3 months. Shout out Jeff as well. We appreciate the support. All right. We are about 15 minutes away from the decision. Yeah, you guys know what we do on these live commitment videos. Coach Jay puts a little homework together, and we're going to watch some film on one Christian Gass. Again, at the top of the show, both these guys talked about what they like about his game. Coach Jay is going to go through a few plays here. Coach Rice is free to chime in as well. We're at the 12-second mark. What do we got, Coach Jay?
So first of all, we're going to go through the first play pretty quick, and then maybe talk about the next two in a little more depth. But we talked about kind of three things, both me and Coach Rice. We talked about run defense, pass defense, and then just the speed of this guy. And that's what this first play is tailored to show you. There's not a ton to talk to. Offenses in trips. This is a 4-3 defense. This is going to be a stunt by the Sam, Mike, and Will linebacker in this situation. Christian Gass going to be at the top of the field. And this is just going to be an all-out sprint to that quarterback. And just check out the speed, guys. And when he arrives, I love it, man. He gets that strip. He gets that ball for his offense. Check out this speed. 200-meter champion, 100-meter champion kid can fly at the linebacker position. Like I said, Boogie, not a lot to say about it. Let's check out that speed. Almost doesn't need the bend here, Coach Rice. He's so dang quick. Look at that. Ball comes out. His team scoops it up. I mean, that's elite speed right there. That's just period. That kid that tackle didn't have a chance. He almost fell down. He was so crossed up right there. If you know, watch the offensive tackle. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, and then one thing you see in that defense, the way they got their defense set up, it creates one-on-one situations.
Correct.
And the way Gass, his speed against that tackle to where the running back, the way they did their blocking scheme, the running back has to worry about the middle because that's always the running back's first blocking assignment is anything coming up the middle. Well, they got a blitz coming up the middle, and so that leaves one-on-one on the outside. Gass's speed takes over in this situation. As like Coach Jay said, he didn't even have to worry about bending because he just beat the tackle to the spot, and it was over at that point.
Absolutely. All right. Right here, we get a nickel look out of the defense. C. Gass is going to be that linebacker, middle linebacker at the top of the screen. I don't know if Boogie wants to put an arrow on him, make it a little more friendly. We're going to have trips to the bottom side of the field here. What they're going to do here is try to put our linebacker in conflict. And those of you who watched Herring all last year knew that plays like this were a problem when the linebacker got put into conflict. They're going to run this X wide receiver, which is the wide receiver at the top of the screen, like he's going to run a seam route, but he's going to sit down, right? He's just going to sit down into that curl, try to sit down that soft zone. That running back is going to run into the flat. Okay, so Christian Gass here, his read is going to be first the offensive line pass. His first step is actually going to be a misread. It's going to be a step down, like it's a run play. He should really be taking a bounce step or a hop step so that he can reset his feet back to his angle. He's in a zone defense right here, so he needs to get to what we call our wall off. He needs to get on a 45-degree angle back into his wall off. Boogie, when he settles into that wall off, they'll put an arrow on him, try to pause it right there, and we'll talk about what we got. See, he takes that step, wastes a little time, gets to that wall off. Now, he's peeking at that running back into the flats, which I love, right? He's in his zone, so he's got to honor this sit down. He reads the tailback. He sees that he's not continuing into the post. He digests that well mentally. One thing I'd like to see out of him is when you got into that 45-degree angle in the wall off here, you can just take a down step back at the same 45-degree angle towards the flat. He actually gets a little too sideline to side instead of on the angle where he can step out towards the post or the curl, or he can step down towards that flat. But either way, let's watch him attack this flat when the quarterback throws it to the running back underneath. And let's watch this for him, man. Knees to nuts, ass down, head up, wrap up, hat on the ball, everything you teach a young player to do when they tackle at an elite level. See, and you saw what it was to do when he didn't take a down step at that 45-degree angle. He shuffles his feet. He typewrites his feet. Those are what we call wasted steps as the linebacker. That's what we want to change at the college level. But the read is there. He wasn't confused by getting put into conflict, and that's what I want to see out of my young linebackers.
Yeah, everything you just said. Oh, that's the only what you were talking about when you're talking about changing their his angle. You talking about flipping his hips there? Or,
Yeah. Yep. You got it. Cool.
All right, we're going to take a look at one more play. Again, we're taking you all the way up to the decision at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Christian Gass coming off the board. Tennessee, Georgia, Southern California. South Carolina. Valhalla. Till Valhalla becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, my friend. We appreciate it. Logan Martin, been a member for 9 months. Logan about to give birth to his little tiny sweet Talkin VAWLS baby boy. Shout out, Logan. Appreciate it, brother. Till Valhalla for 5 says, go damn VAWLS. Looking forward to Shady. Keep crushing it. Boogie, he left out the coaches and the coaches. The coaches, ride or die. Ride or die. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to get Shady on here tomorrow. And we're going to have to come up with something. We've already interviewed him once, so maybe we'll just ask him why he said that everybody was the leader and not Tennessee. Maybe that's where we'll start, and we'll go from there.
I like that question.
Why are you putting positive things out about the Gators? Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know if that'd be the way to start the interview. Dakota, been a member for 10 months. We appreciate it. Peyton 100 Full has been a member for 12 months. Appreciate that support. Peyton 100 Full for 10 says, go VAWLS. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Again, we're right around the corner from the decision. James Richards is here. My friend, James Richard. I love when James pops in the chat, and it reminds me of I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. It never gets old. It's just like every time I laugh, because it took me probably 6 months to realize that it was James in the chat. Let's take a look at one more play from Christian Gas. Let's see. What was the timestamp? 117? No, 116. This is a weird timestamp, Coach Jay. Your timestamp is it?
You're muted.
146. Did I press the wrong button or something when I texted you?
You might have. All right, here we go. 146.
There we go.
Boom.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we got single back, single wing out of the offense here. We see Christian Gas is going to be showing pressure on that outside C gap here. He's going to show pressure and then slowly start to motion and shade over that tackle. Boogie, just give me a tick or two barely why he starts to shade over just a little bit here. That's enough. All right, now what's going to happen here is he's reading, right? He's going to read guard to center to running back, right? That's going to be his triangle here, okay? What we're going to get is the guard on his side is going to pull. The center is going to replace and take on that deep tackle here, and they're going to run a counter off of it or a zone read. It seems more like a zone read. Boogie, give me to the mesh point right here. He's going to slide inside again. And we'll talk about kind of what we get. Just give me to that mesh point right now. Slide. There you go.
Oh,
you got a little too deep, but that's all right. There we go. Now, right here, look at those eyes, right? He's watching that mesh point, as we know. One thing that this created, I like this defensive scheme because what it did by showing extra pressure on the outside is it really got that tackle to kick out a little bit more and drop back a little bit more, get on his heels. And now all of a sudden we squeeze that outside edge with number 8 as a defense. I really, really like that. The B gap is plugged. We see a giant hole right in the middle of the field, right above number 11 right there. We also see a hole kind of on the other side to the left of where you're, right there, right? So what you want to do here is you want to scrape into that hole, sit in that hole. If the quarterback doesn't keep it on that mesh point, you don't want to get too deep here and attack the mesh point because your backside is covered by number 8, right? You want to get in that hole. You want to sit down ass deep, which means as deep as the offensive lineman's ass, and scrape over is what you want to do as a defender here. This is perfectly read, and this is what we call when a linebacker is scraping through the gaps. Boogie, let's take a look at it. This is beautiful. Just sits in the gap violently. He's going to ride that guard, that pulling guard's hip right to the running back. Beautiful, beautiful done. Boogie, do me a favor after this play. Just play this play real quick, just real fast, the very next play. And then Coach Rice can comment on that previous play. I just love the way this guy tackles, man. Just play this one. Just as a little bonus. Just sit. I just love the way he feels, man.
Make a read and go kill a dude.
He really feels so well. I like the up play before it. It just showed him scraping really well, reading the center to guard that key. Your linebacker triangles in the run really well. I like this kid, man. I think he could be a good one.
Coach Jake, you be the linebacker. You be the one better to explain this. explain to the fans what the linebacker reads, what their keys are. I know a lot of times it's the guards pulling or or sniffer if you got a fullback or something in the backfield. Uh, Explain to the fans what the linebackers are. What's their first key when they're deciphering a play?
9 times out of 10, it's going to be the guard step unless specified by the coach in it. And when we talk about guard step reads, we've talked about it a little, but think of it like this. I'm going to watch the guard's very first step, right? That's my first read. If he steps down, then I need to step down with him. If he pulls, I need to take my diagonal read step with him, right? If he pops back in the pass pro, I need to take a hop step or a reset step. And then after I've taken that read step, I go to my second key. Sometimes that second key is a running back. Sometimes it's a tight end.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a center, like in that previous situation. It really just depends on the defensive formation and scheme. But that's what we talk about when our triangulation of reads is a linebacker. We always like to think about it as a triangle. But your first read, like I said, 90% of the time is going to be guard step. There are offense coordinators out there, and we've got two of them in our conference now, mainly Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian. Weird, they're both Pete Carroll guys who like to mistreat that guard step and trick you with it. Those are games. If I'm playing against Lane Kiffin, I'm probably going to read tackle step. Tackle step out.
Because and it's getting more adamant in the game where offensive coordinators like myself, they're reading. They know what the linebackers in most cases their keys are guard step to the next level, the tight end or running back or sniffer. Those are normally the next keys after the guard. Well, now as an offense coordinator, we're trying to draw up plays that are opposite, where it's getting the linebacker to read wrong.
Right.
All right, I got to cut y'all off. We got breaking news, y'all. Here we go.
Here we go.
Only, and I believe this will be his third, second year of playing linebacker. Yes, take it back to our
Christian, just kind of, take me through this visit. What were you looking forward to coming in, and what did you find?
Honestly, coming in this visit, I just wanted to get more in depth with the program. Last time I came here, it was for junior day. I don't think I got up much time to spend time with coaches. Why Georgia? Why was that the first name? That's a big dog team. That's the team I've been watching all my life, really. Yeah, Shula tell me all the time, he gonna shoot me straight. He ain't gonna tell me he's not gonna sit here and tell me I'm gonna play. He ain't gonna tell me this and that, but he's gonna tell me he's gonna teach me. What would I talk to? What would I say? As much as I thought about it and prepped myself and my family for it, the process is still something we never saw coming. But I got to see things I've never dreamed of. The West Coast and USC, the Tennessee River, and the hedges and Athens up close. I can't thank all the coaches enough that have recruited me. I also want to thank God for giving me the ability to excel at football and be able to experience this. Thank you to all my coaches, teammates, and advisors for keeping me grounded throughout this process. I want to thank all of the college coaches for accepting my family and making this decision, one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life to this point. And lastly, Mom, thank you. Thank you for being my rock and my guiding light. I love you to the moon and back, but this is step one. So with all that being said, I want to verbally commit to the University of Tennessee. GBO, go Vols.
Boom.
There we
Let's
go.
Good
Let's
news.
go.
Let's
The
go.
good guys, and it feels like let's just do this.
Rocky Top!
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. Boom, the next domino to fall. It started with Travis Smith. The Georgia fans said, no, he's coming to Georgia. He's evolved. Now we move on to Christian Gass. They said he's coming to Georgia. Now he's coming to Tennessee. Up next, Shady Hayward. Coach Rice, are the dominoes Are the dominoes going to continue to fall as we look ahead? Shady Hayward next Saturday. Juan Gaston, August the 2nd. Faison Brandon, August the 3rd. David Sanders, the 17th. Jaden Perlotti. Be interesting to see what happens with him. I was talking to Nelson about it, and he said a Georgia insider was talking about they're pushing all the chips in on Jaden Perlotti. Onus Conanbanny, early August. How you feeling we move forward from here?
Hey, and add Josh Petty August 12th.
Yeah, I got to put that in the calendar.
Yeah. So, hey, I told you the other day when we were Wednesday, the momentum is key. Building up, you got Shady Hayward next. You got Juan Gaston. You got all these other guys, Onus Conanbanny, Faison Brandon, who I have zero doubt in my mind he's a Vol. And then all that building up to David Sanders and Josh Petty. Guys, we could be looking at a number 5 class. I don't think better than that, but we could get up to top 5 after August 17th. We could be looking at after August 17th the number 5 class in the nation. And now, how high is that as a Tennessee fan? What level of greatness can Tennessee become when we start rattling in top 5, top 6 classes? And you do it this year, you go win 11, 12 games this year and make it to the college football playoff, I can guarantee you on everything that we'll do it again next year. Let's just keep this steam rolling and let's go. I'm hyped. If you pull off Perlotti and Gas and that speed, you add him with Edwin Spillman, that linebacker speed, y'all, it'll be the fastest linebacker group in the country. It's zero doubt.
By the way, shout out to the Lofton family in the chat. Mr. Lofton, James is in the house. Also, Uncle Kenny's in the house. It's funny, Wednesday night after we went off air, Kenny asked if he could call me. So we were sitting downstairs talking. He was asking how it went and everything. And my wife's like, really? You just finished and you're already talking to his uncle on the phone? He texted me the following morning, and she was like, who was that? I was like, oh, it was Uncle Kenny. She goes, the guy you just talked to on the phone for 20 minutes last night? I said, yeah, we're family now. We're family now. I'm part of the Lofton family, and they're part of the Big Orange family. Let me hit these real quick. Brian Allison, good to see Brian in the chat, renewing his membership. We appreciate that, Brian. Also, Papa Jay's in the house, drops a $10 super chat to say F-U-G-A. Coach Jay, go ahead. I cut you off there.
I was going to say that Kenny Lofton's going to get a little pet rat and put a little volunteer shirt on him twice at the University of Tennessee. Those of you who caught that interview get that. Those of you didn't, go watch that interview. It's a dang good interview. No, all I was going to say is I see Nelson's comment in there, and he is right. It's hard to hit number 5 with GMAC and Jake where they are, but I don't believe they're going to end up there. I truly don't. I think that was a drop in ratings off season. Due to some camp stuff. And I think once GMAC puts his senior season on tape, he certainly will rise. I said Jake,
Boom.
I meant Van Doorslayer. I meant Van Doorslayer for the second one. And I think Van Doorslayer can jump back up too. He plays really, really good football in a tough spot in Texas. I think both those kids have a senior season. They can rise. I think GMAC can definitely rise higher. But we'll see. That remains to be seen. And once again, we got to trust our evaluations. 10th is good, man. Coach Rice just said it. We've got a lot of big commits in front of us. Juan Gaston, David Sanders. You throw Juan Gaston and David Sanders in this class right now, what would we be sitting if we did that? What?
You had Shady Hayward,
6?
Juan Gaston, and David Sanders, and Conrad, who's a 4-star. I'm telling you, we will get to number 5 or number 6.
You look at the movement just now. You went from 13th to 10th. Gas is 225 on the On3 industry rankings. Shady's 100 coming off the board on Saturday. Of course, it depends what happens in front of you, what happens behind you. But you like Shady at 100th. Juan Gaston, I don't have it in front of me. Juan Gaston's pretty high.
Perlotti's a top 150.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. And also, I'm going to keep chirping about it. I think the Vols steal one a little bit later in the cycle once this offense gets going midseason. I really do believe that in my heart of hearts. So we'll see how that pans out.
Hashtag Deshaun Breen.
There you go,
dude.
There's still rumors about him.
Yeah, like AP, well, first of all, Nelson was like, there's rumors that somebody at Oregon's going to decommit. We start talking about Brame, and then AP said, expect him, to visit during the season, third Saturday in October. That's going to be an electric environment. Then it seems like the buzz is more and more and more that, man, I don't know that he's going to make it. I think he's going to decommit soon. Pure speculation. I think it could be sooner rather than later.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. We'll see how the season shakes out. I saw someone in the chat earlier mention they don't think Lincoln will be at USC midway through the season. I know quite a few Trojan fans out here who aren't very high on Lincoln. If that ended up being right, we could see some kids get dropped from that class. There's a certain running back out of Oakland that I would just love for Tennessee to get his hands on. And if the bottom were to fall out of USC or something like that, that could become a reality too. We talk about all the time, recruiting's fluid. There's going to be many a slip between the cup and the lip, but we'll see how this one shakes out. But you got to love where Tennessee Volunteers are sitting after the recruitment of Christian Gas.
And even I know we get caught up in numbers, right? Because we're chasing that top 5, always chasing that top 5 class. But you look at this class and some of the prospects that Tennessee has landed. If we went back to January and I said, "Oh, we're going to get Travis Smith," you'd be, "Let's freaking go!" "Oh, we're going to get Douglas Utu, really? Yeah. Let's go!" Like they have done a great job in this class. So regardless of what rankings say, because it is a numbers game, and I don't, obviously there's some more to it with the way Tennessee's roster looks right now. But I don't think Josh Heupel's ever going to push all of his chips in on high school recruiting. I think it's always going to be go get your fair share and then use the transfer portal. Yeah. And that's what we saw, with the secondary this past cycle. That's college football in 2024. It's not all high school prospects. It's just not. And that's not an excuse. That's not, I think Josh Heupel needs to be better recruiting. I've said that multiple times, but it's not the end all be all like it used to be.
Well, and then another thing you can look at to going to next year's recruiting class. The number 1 and number 9 players in the country are very high on Tennessee's list right now. Mm-hmm. What type of momentum does this year lead? And if Faison Brandon goes ahead and commits to Tennessee August 3rd, what type of momentum does that set forth for the 26 class? So Tennessee fans were in a great spot. Coach Heupel's got this program going in the right way. There's zero doubt in my mind that we are looking at a college football playoff this year, and depending everyone stays healthy, and just let's keep doing what we're doing as far as fans, and let's keep being the greatest fan base in the world.
There you go.
Goes back to what you said, man. What we've been saying, 2024. It's it. It's go time, man. The success on the field is going to translate to the recruiting trail even more than it already has. And Faison Brandon getting in the boat so early gives Tennessee such a huge advantage. Shout out to Jamie Roberts, been a member for 23 months, as another win for the good guys. Michelle for 10. Appreciate the super chat. Says the only live commit that didn't go our way was the one that I missed. Think my new nickname should be Lucky Lady Lurker. Maybe so. So maybe you guys need to stop blaming us and start blaming Michelle when we miss a commitment. Boys, we still got a pretty good track record for 2024. What we only missed one, and we kind of knew it was going that way going into it. So I think we're doing pretty good. Don't forget, smash the thumbs up. Still share out the link. Let people know about this stream. They can come back and give it a watch tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Talkin VAWLS live on a Sunday night. Shady Hayward, the next one scheduled to come off the board, is going to be in the house. And I don't know, we may do a fan call-in show after that. We'll decide where we want to take that. All you guys that are members of the Patreon playing EA Sports College Football 25, go check the Patreon. The league is launched. We're about to get rolling. I got a couple more team picks to get. Go check it out. There's still spots available. You want to play EA Sports College Football against me, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, Dauber's in the league. Come hang out. It's going to be good times. You can go join the Patreon. The link is in the description below. But that is going to do it for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Love you guys. This is one big, giant family. For Coach Jay, for Coach Rice, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.